What nobody tells you about working on a mine site. In today's episode of Chronicles of a Female Engineer, I want to share with you 3 things that I didn't realize about working on a mine site. The first one is around shift work, the long hours. So essentially, shift work meant a bump on my pay rise, on my pay slip. And I thought this is fantastic. But what does this translate to on the day to day? Long hours. Essentially, shift work can either be a 10-hour or 12-hour shift. And if it's a 12-hour shift, it's normally 6 to 6. So I'd find myself waking up around 4:30, putting the snooze button a couple of times so that I'm up by 5, going to the mess and eating in the large dining hall or preparing breakfast, essentially, eating that and getting out of the house just to make sure I'm there for a 5:45 meeting and starting the shift at 6. So from 6 a.m., you're reviewing the previous day's performance, looking at how things are going, and your day begins. And your day continues, and your day goes on and on until 6 o'clock. So you have another handover meeting at 5:45 to let the incoming shift know what's happened while you were there, and you knock off. And essentially, you get home, you have dinner, and you sleep because you're pretty much tired. Maybe you can catch an episode of The Bachelor, and then it's time to go to bed. So this is really quite a shock to the system. I mean, we're not used to working that long. So some things that I found helped me was to just have that routine, to try and sneak in a walk and something before, like after dinner, while I'm watching The Bachelor, or something on my phone. Then just key in a walk, just some exercise to break it up, because literally you will want to watch that, eat dinner, sleep, and repeat. So a typical shift pattern roster can be maybe 10 days on, 4 days off. That one was 10 hours a day. But the 12-hour day ones were 8 days on or with 6 days off, 7 days on or 7 days off. And they've got, depending on the number of people that are on your shifts or your crews, it could be a 5 days on, 4 days off, 4 days on, 5 days off, or a 4 days off, 4 days on, 6 days off. So there's quite a few type of shift patterns, but essentially I did not realize that shift work would take a toll on me physically. Another thing that was interesting that I didn't realize about working on a mine site was the PPE, personal protective equipment. So this is all the high-vis gear that we see us wearing, which include boots, it could be overalls or pants and shirt, and jackets and sweaters in the winter. Now, this has come a long, long way, but there's still plenty of stories of women in industry who do not have the right sizes. So if you can imagine a small sized lady, so maybe she's a size 8 or even a size 6, let's say, and then she is essentially told that she can wear a male size small. A male size small is very different to a woman's size small. So therein lies a problem. So my jackets would sometimes be quite large, particularly in winter where you want to have the warmth. The jackets were large, which meant that they would go over the cuff and you wouldn't have that space. And essentially, this is what was a hindrance. So, and boots may not be the right size. Again, if they're not a lady's size 8 or size 6, then there's a problem there, and you double up your socks or get thicker socks so you can try and have less of that room juggling, which may mean that you end up with blisters, which may mean that you're pretty much uncomfortable and you're, repairing those band-aids every second day. So I'm sure a few guys listening may resonate. You may not be aware, but these are the types of challenges, right? And so women have been speaking up, women have been asking for more and better, and there are now companies out there who are stocking and supplying women's safety wear so that we can be comfortable. We don't have to have sleeves hanging over our hands, and reducing the dexterity so we can actually work with our hands adequately, and removing the blisters and discomfort from an already exhaustive scenario where you've got long days where you're walking around and active. So again, I recommend that you can request your workplace provide adequate safety wear, and if you can source your own and request just a payback, a chargeback, that is also something to help you feel comfortable while you're in the workplace. That was number two. The third thing that I found that I didn't realize was the level of isolation that you can experience in these remote towns or remote locations. So already it's quite daunting that you're in a new role, in a new town, in a new place, potentially you know no one. But the isolation comes about simply because you've got these long days and there's not much that happens out there. Perhaps you don't have much to do socially and you can feel very isolated. Family is far away. No one else really resonates and understands what it's like to work 12 hours. You could be getting dirty. You could be trying to work through an investigation. You could have a shutdown and there's lots of contractors on board. So you're trying to monitor what they're doing as well. And essentially, the isolation can come through, your brain can start to think about things and focus on what you're missing out on, or what you look at your Instagram and your friends are going out in the city, partying and enjoying life. And, what I found was helpful to help me get over this isolation was to make sure I had some interaction with the town events. So make sure I got involved with the local sport. I enjoyed volleyball, so I was involved in that. Not very good, but volleyball is quite it's not, they had the grades, the A grade who the competitive, the B grades who like to just have fun, and the C grades even. So there's something for everyone. Ladies soccer was something, or mixed soccer, that was something I enjoyed as well. And getting involved in this helped to break up the everyday activities, and also connect with people in the community. It's very easy to get bogged down in just drinking and that sort of activity. So you want to try and make sure you're being a bit balanced, right? So these are my three things that I didn't realize about working on a mine site, which I just wanted to give you an insider's scoop about. If you want to know more about this, or ask any questions or comments and have any recommendations for future content, feel free to contact me at www.brendadenbeston.com, and I'm on the social platforms Brenda Den Beston as well. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Chronicles of a Female Engineer.